Alright, hi YouTube, welcome to another character spotlight video, and today we have with us sort of the main storyline character, although she's not you, but very much tied to you in the story. And she's the very first unit you'll get, B class Lucia, Padma. Later on, I will also cover on the A class Lucia, Dawn. She will be getting a S rank version of her further down the road. So let's see what's the difference of her B and A ranked versions obtainable at launch. Now let me know how you find my videos, may it be likes or dislikes and comments so I can put out things that much interest you. With that said, here we go. Starting off with B rank Lucia Padma. Now everyone will have this version of her. Given that she's B rank, it will be rather easy to promote her to higher ranks. Attacker type, 80% physical and 20% fire. Specialty being strong versus single targets and has attack damage boosting skill. Now gauge shows that she's pretty strong. She has a pretty strong burst potential. Now moving on to her Orb Skills. Red Orb Padma initial move, thrust forward and pulls the target. Now physical damage dealt based on number of pings. Straightforward skill as you can see from the animation. Now yellow orb is Padma Flash Strike. Quick strike and knocks back target, dealing physical damage based on number of pings. Now deals lesser damage than red orb but has an additional knockback effect there. Now lastly, blue orb Padma Wave Slash. Weapon burst dealing physical damage, and for the next few seconds, her attacks deal additional fire damage. So far, this is the only fire damage that we see from her, and only 3 pings of this increases the duration from 4 to 6 seconds. Alright, let's take a look at her active skills. Basic attack is Quick Blade, straightforward there. Her ultimate Padma Flurry, 100 energy dealing quick slashes in front of her, multiple slashes and ending with a quick heavy blow at the end, all of which are physical base damage. So for QTE, comes in with dual blades and dealing a pretty good amount of damage. The next two are the usual Attacker and Ultima Awaken. Passive skills, Padma Dual Blades being her core passive. Now after any 3 pings, there will be a 4 seconds window for you to use a red orb. Now that will replace her basic attacks with dual blades. So basically it sort of adds an additional hit to her usual basic attack, so that the damage is doubled in that sense. And if you couple this with a wave slash which buffs her attacks with fire, it will further increase her damage potential. Now leader skill Fearless Warrior gives all attacker type units in her team an increase of their attack power. Now Rapid Strike Spirit Blade Slash is a passive that deals extra damage to knock back enemies. Relentless Blade is another passive that I believe increases her core passive dual blades damage. Lastly, we have Core of Clarity, which increases her basic attack damage. So we can roughly see here that she's very much built around her basic attacks, focusing on triggering her core passive dual blades and using the other orb skills to further buff her damage. So let us jump into combat to see how this all works out. So to firstly trigger her core passive, any 3 pings followed by any red orb will activate it. Preferably you want a 3 ping blue orbs, as it will grant extra fire damage for her basics, which is double due to dual blades. So you can see that she has a pretty swift basic attack animations. Now I'm gonna try to get the dual blade proc. There we go. You can see a red sword underneath her, and that's the timer of her dual blade duration. You can see a significant difference in her damage and hits as I use a 3 ping blue. And that kind of makes her regular basic attacks look rather weak. Now 3 ping yellow for the knockback and dual blades. Now the sound effect really makes it feel like you're doing a lot more damage with a dual blade. So Ultimate looks pretty cool with those shadows and raining swords. That's pretty much what she's about. Feels relatively simpler to play, mainly prioritizing getting 3 pings of preferably blue, saving red orbs to trigger core passives for, after every 3 pings, giving her skills and basic attacks are very fast. That makes her very mobile. Now I didn't do the same boss fights as the others for Lucia, so here's her in actual battle. Moving on to her A rank version, Lucia Dawn. Also attacker type, however, her element is different. She is 60% lightning and 40% physical. Pretty high lightning ratio there. Strong single target. Pretty all round if you look at her gauge below. One of the highest survival ratings and decent area damage too. Going to her Orb Skills, Red Orb Padma Flurry launches a flurry of attacks that deal physical damage in a row. Turns into lightning damage when it's a 3 ping and gains super armor. Now Yellow Orb Padma Lightning Field deploys the lightning field and marks enemies. Duration and damage increases based on number of pings, and there's also a damage over time effect that deals lightning damage. Blue Orb Padma Moon Arc Slash launches a quick attack at their target, dealing lightning damage based on the number of pings. There's a second animation where it pulls the target towards her and dealing physical damage. And lastly, marking the target. Max of 3 marks on the enemy. So marks are going to be important later on when you're going to see one of the passives. Moving on, let's take a look at her active skills. Basic attacks Quick Blade deals physical damage. Her ultimate move only costs 50 energy and allows her basic attack and skills to additionally deal slight lightning damage. This buff lasts for 15 seconds and casting it again will refresh its duration. So her ultimate does not do any damage per se, but buffs herself to deal additional lightning hits. Given its cheap energy cost, it should be available most of the time as long as you are attacking and dealing damage. Her QTE summons her on and deals a mixture of physical and lightning damage, with the latter having a heavier weightage. The next two are the usual Attacker and Ultima Awaken. Now for her passive skills, Core Passive Padma Lightning Dance. So many names here. Lightning Lure. Alright, procs when she attacks a marked enemy. And based on the number of marks, as we saw from the previous yellow and blue orbs, the max is 3 marks. Chance to launch a lightning attack on the target. You can see that there's a lot of additional lightning damage that can be stacked by her. And this marking, if I'm not wrong, lasts about 12 seconds. So you have that amount of time to proc another one and it will refresh the timer. Now her leader skill increases attack of all attacker constructs in her team. Now the next passive, Super Conductivity, is a passive within the lightning field. Lightning damage increases by 20%. So if you want to do more damage, we're going to make sure that you are attacking the enemies within her lightning field. So the next passive, Fiery Lightning, is a passive that gives extra damage to her Lightning Lure skill. Lastly, we have Daybreak Unleashed. It's a passive that gives extra damage bonus for 10 seconds after performing a signature move. So you can see that she does have quite a decent amount of burst damage and a lot of bonus damage given when you stack skills over each other. So let's head into combat and take a look. First up, blue and yellows proc a mark on the enemy which will trigger her core passive. Yellow to red now is this is more towards increases her red orb damage, as it not only gives the enemy a mark, the 3 ping red converts her damage to lightning, and attacking an enemy within a yellow field buffs her lightning damage. Now her attacks looks really smooth, and one thing to take note is her final hit of her basic attack makes her rush forward. If the enemy is right in front of her, she will dash through the enemy. This can either be annoying for you or really awesome, as it can potentially dodge enemy attacks with it. However, it can really disorient you or make you go into a disadvantageous position. So this is a yellow orb field, which is a red circle around her, and blue is this pull, really cool pull ability with a moderate range. Now her ultimate simply buffs her. You can see a lot more lightning icon damage, and the duration is the sword underneath her. Strategy is to keep marks on the enemy, keeping your ultimate on. Try to save for 3 ping reds for lightning damage, and if you do, use a yellow orb before that would be ideal. I can see a lot of hits from her, and she seems like a ramp up hero, as ideally you want 3 marks on the target for that increased chance of additional lightning hits. Now moving on to seeing her in battle, I'm gonna leave it to you guys to see how she feels like. Alright, this is pretty much for me. Thank you all for watching, and if you have enjoyed the content, do smash the like button and subscribe for more Punishing Grey Raven content. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Stay safe, take care. Xez here, signing out.